Begin in child's pose with your hips sinking back to your heels. Arms relaxed, shoulders relaxed. Taking about 5 deep breaths into the belly. Start to make the arms a little more active now. Coming up onto the fingertips, lifting the elbows away from the mat, and drawing your armpits down towards your hips. Begin to walk your hands over to the left, sinking the right sitting bone down and breathing into the right side of your ribs. Walking the hands back through center and then over to the left. This time breathing into the left ribs. Walking the hands back to center. Coming up onto your knees, bringing the knees hip width apart and stretching back out for puppy pose. Letting the heart melt towards the mat. Hips stay high above the knees. And continue to breathe here. Coming back up onto hands and knees. Sweep the right hand to the ceiling and then thread it under your left arm, past your left knee. And walk the right hand up to the top of the mat. A few breaths here. Or you might like to sweep that hand up to the ceiling and wrap it behind your back. Perhaps the fingertips will wrap around the opposite thigh. Releasing the left hand back down, sweep the right hand up and release it back to the mat. Moving to the other side, left hand sweeps high, threading underneath the right. Once again, the option is there to keep that right hand extended to the top of the mat, or to sweep it up to the ceiling and wrap it behind your back. Release the right hand, place it under your elbow, release the left hand to the ceiling, back down to the mat. Coming forward onto hands and knees into tabletop. Dropping the belly, looking forward. And as you exhale, arching through the spine, dropping the head. A few rounds of cat-cow here, following your own breath. Returning to a neutral spine. And start to engage through the shoulders, lowering the chest towards the mat as you squeeze the shoulder blades on the back. And then lifting the chest away from the mat, upper back towards the ceiling until you find that central neutral position. And lifting up into your down dog and walking out the dog, bending one knee at a time. Feeling the stretch through the back of the legs. Bending the knees, looking forward. And on your next exhale, walk, step, hop, or jump all the way to the front of the mat. Coming into a ragdoll at the top of the mat. Take hold of opposite elbows. Maybe nodding the head yes and shaking it no. And releasing the hands to the mat. A couple of ways to approach halfway lift. You can bring hands to shins. We'll exhale, fold. You can bend the knees deeply, keep the fingers on the floor, focus on a flat back. Or you can lift and lengthen the chest away from the thighs. Toe heel the feet together and slowly roll up to standing. One vertebra at a time, bringing the arms up above the head. And exhale, hands to prayer. Pausing here for a moment, perhaps setting a sankalpa, an intention. Steady the breath. Inhale, sweep the arms up above the head. And exhale, fold forward into Uttanasana. Take a halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Once more, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift, lengthen. And plant your palms into the mat, step back to your high plank. Moving forward into low plank. Sliding all the way down to the belly on this first round. Inhaling to cobra, shoulders drawing together on the back. And as you exhale, press back to down dog. A few breaths here. Stepping forward to the front of your mat. Take a halfway lift, lengthen the spine. And exhale, fold. Sweep all the way up to standing. And complete the round with hands to prayer in the center of your chest. Inhale, rise. And exhale, melt to the mat. Halfway lift, lengthen. Plant the hands, step or jump back to your high plank. Keeping the hips high until the last moment. Inhaling to cobra or up dog. And exhaling back to down dog. And once again, take a few breaths in your down dog. Looking forward, bending the knees, step, hop or jump to the front of the mat. Folding forward at the top. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Sweep all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands to prayer. Continue breathing in. Exhale, folding forward. Halfway lift. Plant your palms, step back, high plank. Drop to your knees is always an option, especially if you get tired. Inhale, cobra or up dog. And exhale back to down dog. Once again, a couple of breaths here. Step forward to the top of the mat once again and fold forward. Sweeping all the way up to standing. Exhale to close the round. Inhale, sweep the arms high. Exhale, sink into your chair pose. Hugging the outer hips in, the outer knees, everything hugs into the center line. Sink the hips a little lower. And exhale, fold forward and melt. Halfway lift, lengthen. Plant your hands, step or jump back, high plank. Continuing through your vinyasa, or of course you can always skip vinyasa and take a couple of breaths in down dog to catch up. Sweep the right leg high. Plant it between your hands, curling the knee into the chest, shin away from the mat, stepping it forward, dropping the left heel, warrior one. On your inhale, rise up. Stay here. Check your alignment. Breathe. Interlace the fingers behind the back. Inhale, lift the chest. And exhale, fold forward into humble warrior. Staying here for a few breaths. Strong in the legs. Keep planting the feet into the mat. On your inhale, rise up, hands released. And on your exhale, open out to warrior two, adjusting your feet as needed, your stance. Flip the front palm, reverse your warrior. Deepen that bend in the knee as you exhale. Stay here for another breath. And then side angle, bringing the right elbow to the right knee, sweeping the left hand down and up in line with your ear, creating a diagonal line through that left side body. Lengthen the right side of the waist. Keep rolling that right hip under. Inhale back to warrior two, cartwheel the hands to the mat, step back and release the right foot back to the mat. Left leg lifts. Warrior one on the left side, hugging the knee to the chest, planting the feet. And on your inhale, sweep all the way up. Stay for the exhale, adjust as needed. Widen the stance for stability. And then release the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers. On your inhale, lift the chest, look up. Exhale, fold forward, humble warrior. Couple of breaths here. Let the hands float up to the ceiling. Inhale to rise. And then opening up to warrior two on the other side. Couple of breaths here. Flip the front palm, reverse your warrior. Inhale. Stay for the exhale. Back up to warrior two and then continue on to side angle. Right hand sweeps down, forward, and then in line with your ear. Inhale, warrior two. Cartwheel the hands to the mat, step the back foot forward, take a halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Chair pose as you rise to stand and exhale. A little quicker this time. Start in Tadasana mountain pose. Sink into your chair pose on your inhale and exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift. Plant the hands, step back, high plank. Moving through your vinyasa, or of course skipping it if you need to. Exhale back to down dog. Right leg lifts. Warrior one on the right side, plant the feet. Inhale, rise. Exhale, stay. Hands behind the back. Inhale to lift the chest and exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise. Exhale to warrior two. Reverse side angle. Inhale to warrior two. Cartwheel your hands to the mat. Optional vinyasa. Drop to the knees if you're getting tired. Modify as you need. Back to down dog. Lift the left leg high. Warrior one. Plant the feet and inhale to rise. Hands behind the back. Inhale once more. Exhale, fold into your humble warrior. Inhale, rise. Warrior two on the exhale. Flip and reverse. Side angle. Breath in. Back up to warrior two. Cartwheel the hands to the mat. Step the back foot forward. Take a halfway lift. Exhale, melt. Sweep all the way up to standing. Inhale. Hands to prayer. Exhale. Continuing on from Tadasana. Chair pose as you inhale. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift, lengthen. Plant the hands, step back, vinyasa. Meeting in down dog on your exhale. Right leg lifts. Step it through for warrior one. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands clasp behind the back. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, fold. Straight back to warrior one and opening out to warrior two. Flip and reverse. Side angle. Warrior two. And then vinyasa. Back to down dog for the final side. Left leg lifts. Set up the feet for warrior one. Inhale, rise. Hands behind the back. Inhale, lift the chest, and exhale, fold forward. Warrior 1 on your inhale, open out to Warrior 2 on your exhale. Reverse your warrior, breathe in, side angle as you breathe out. Inhale back up to Warrior 2. Cartwheel the hands to the mat, step back, and drop the knees to the mat and sink back to your child's pose. Let's take a few breaths here. Letting the shoulders relax, the elbows relax on the mat. Sink the hips to the heels. And just let the breath restore to a natural and even rhythm. Lifting back up onto hands and knees. Tuck the toes, lift back up to down dog. I'm going to take side angle here, a couple of options. Can drop the right knee to the mat and extend the left leg out long, left hand to the ceiling. For modified side plank, lifting the hips high. Can float the top leg up to the ceiling. And release back down. Release the right hand down and step back to down dog. Moving forward to high plank, dropping the left knee down, extending the right foot out long, right hand to the ceiling. Of course, you can always take full side plank, floating the top leg high and releasing right hand down, back to down dog. We're going to take a second round, this time full side plank, or you can stick with modified side plank. Coming into high plank with big toes touching and then rolling onto the outer edge of your right foot, stacking left foot, stacking left hip on top of right, left shoulder on top of right, left hand to the ceiling, and right shoulder blade drawing down your back. Moving back through high plank, back to down dog. Take a breath here. And then setting up for full side plank on the left side, rolling forward to high plank, rolling onto your left foot. Inhale the right hand high. Floating the top leg is optional. Lift from the bottom hip up. And then release the right hand down. Drop to the knees and sink back to child's pose, sweeping the hands back beside your feet and resting the forehead on the mat. Breathing here. Letting the shoulders relax. Breathing into the back body. On your next inhale, coming back to your down dog. Tucking the toes, lifting the hips. Sweep the right leg high and step it between your hands, heading for Warrior 2. Inhale up. Coming into triangle pose, straightening through that front leg. Reaching forward, trying to connect your hip to your thigh, and then move your arms into a vertical position. Right hand to the inside of the right leg, left hand to the sky. Lengthening through the side waist. Couple of breaths. Inhale back up to Warrior 2. And now let's set up for half moon using a block. On the right side, place that block in front of your right foot. Right hand to the block, left hand to the hip. Lifting the left leg straight out behind your hip. And then slowly start to twist the upper body and the leg to the side so you can stack left hip on top of right, turning left thigh, left toes out to the side. Floating the left hand up and potentially hovering the right hand off the block for 3, for 2, for 1, and release. Folding forward, taking hold of your 2 big toes with your peace fingers, lift and lengthen on the inhale, and exhale, draw the torso towards the thighs. Inhale to release, and setting up for the left side, placing the block in front of your left foot this time, left hand to the block, right hand to the hip. Inhale the right leg out behind you, and then slowly start to turn the torso to the side, stacking right hip on top of left, toes and thigh pointing out to the side. And then if you're feeling steady here, float the right hand to the ceiling and maybe hovering off the block with your left hand. Breathing here nice and steady. And then releasing back to a forward fold. This time sliding your hands underneath your feet for gorilla pose. Release the hands. Take a halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Sweep all the way up to standing as you breathe in. Hands to prayer as you breathe out. Working on our standing balances. Let's come into open eagle, crossing your right ankle on top of your left knee, hands into prayer, and then sink back as if you're sitting into a chair. And either pausing in an upright position, or if you're feeling nice and steady, folding forward a little, seeing if you can connect your right elbow to your right knee. Gazing forward of your mat. Slowly start to lift the torso. And let's bring the foot straight into the leg for tree pose. The foot can be into the calf, into the thigh, or to the ankle. Beginning with hands in prayer. Get steady in your legs, even through the hips. And then if you wish to add any variation with your arms that suits you today, feel free to draw them up above your head. Solid in the standing leg, grounding through the foot. And releasing the hands back to prayer. Release the foot back to the mat. Shake it out if you need to. And then moving to the other side for open eagle, left ankle on top of right knee. Sinking into your chair. When you're ready, start to lift the torso and bring the left foot into the right leg, thigh, calf, ankle. And settle into your tree pose, focusing first on steadying the legs, evening the hips, and then potentially another variation with your arms, perhaps hands behind your back, reverse prayer or opposite elbows. And then release. Inhale, rise. Exhale, swan dive forward. Halfway lift and lengthen. Plant your hands, step back to your high plank, lowering all the way down to your belly. Setting up for cobra, hands below your elbows, level with your chest. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. And exhale to lower. On your next inhale, rise, press the top of the feet into the mat. And exhale, lower. Inhale once more, draw the shoulder blades together on the back. And exhale, lower. Release your left ear to the mat, hands out long beside your hips. And a few breaths here. Taking bow pose next, reaching behind you, grabbing hold of the feet with both hands, and inhale to lift. Kick the feet away. The hands are resisting and trying to draw the feet closer towards you. Breathing here, and then slowly releasing, left ear to the mat, hands beside your hips. Slowly pushing back to child's pose. Couple of breaths here. Breathing into the low back. And then lifting up to hands and knees, and back to down dog. Setting up for half pigeon on the right side. Inhale to lift the leg, and then bring the knee behind the right wrist, sliding the left leg back, untucking the toes. Inhale, lift the chest. An optional mermaid pose, picking up the left foot in your left hand and drawing it towards your glutes for a thigh stretch. And then releasing that foot back down and lengthening the hands forward and fold forward for half pigeon. Nice easy breaths here. Feel free to take a few exhales through an open mouth. Releasing any tension, softening around the shoulders, softening around the hips. On your next inhale, lifting the torso, walking the hands back. Tucking the back toes and stepping back to your down dog. Straight over to the other side, left leg lifts, left knee behind left wrist. Walking the right leg back this time. Optional mermaid. And release the foot. And folding forward for a half pigeon on the left side. An alternative, if half pigeon's not appropriate for your knees, is to come into deer pose, drawing the right knee up towards the left foot and folding forward over the left knee. Lifting yourself upright. Let's bring the right leg forward. Bring the left foot into the inside of the right leg. Inhale, sweep the arms up. And exhale, fold forward, grab hold of the foot or the leg. And focus on lengthening through the back. Gently drawing your chest towards your thighs, but no force or strain. Inhale to lift back up. Draw the knee into the center of the chest and cross the foot over to the outside of the right leg. Coming into a seated twist here, using your right arm to draw the knee to the center, so either elbow crease around the front of the knee or elbow outside of the knee. Left hand behind your left hip. And for each inhale, focus on length through the spine. And with each exhale, slightly deeper twist. And then releasing back to the front. Draw the right knee in, sole of the foot to the inside of the left leg. Let the knee fall out to the side. Inhale up and exhale, fold and grab hold of whatever you can reach. Inhale out of the pose. Draw the knee to center. Cross the foot to the outside of the left leg. Right hand behind your hip. Left elbow outside of the knee. Inhale, sit tall, lengthen the spine. And exhale, twist. Releasing to face forward. Lengthen both legs. Inhale to lift out of the waist and exhale, fold forward. Once again, grab whatever you can reach. Maybe this time bending the knees so that you can draw your chest toward your thighs. Take the pressure out of the low back. Drop the head. Inhale to lift the torso and draw the soles of the feet together, knees out wide. Taking hold of the feet or the ankles and folding forward once more, letting the spine curve this time. Inhale to lift back up and head onto your back for bridge pose. Walking the heels up towards your hips. And pressing into the feet to lift the hips. You could place a block underneath the hips for a nice restorative version. Stay here for a few breaths. And placing the block on the flat edge under your sacrum and extend the legs up to the ceiling. If you're practicing shoulder stand or wheel or other inversions, now would be the opportunity. And when you've had enough, coming down onto your back, release the block. And hug the right knee into the chest. Give it a good squeeze. Extend the foot up to the ceiling. Press through the heel. Let the leg cross over your body, over towards the left for a breath, and then out towards the right for a breath, swapping hands to support the leg. And then settling into a supine twist, drawing that knee across the body, release the left hand out long. Keep your left shoulder anchored here on the mat. And then releasing the right leg and continuing on with the left leg, drawing the knee into the chest, hugging it in. And then extending the left foot up to the ceiling, toes toward your face, press through the heel. And then let the leg cross over your body towards the right, just for one breath. And then let it open out to the left. And draw the knee back into the chest. And then supine twist, drawing the knee over to the right. Let your left hand release down as your anchor. And staying here for a few breaths. Once you've taken an even amount of breaths on this side, you might like to finish with happy baby or a version of it. And then setting yourself up for Shavasana, lying on your back with your feet comfortably flopped out to the side. And staying here for as long as you can, 5 to 7 to 10 minutes, letting your awareness rest on your breath. Namaste.